presents to you Honest Talk.
Hi folks, today we are back with one more great and leading personality, Dr. Anil Lamba. Best-selling author, financial literacy activist and an international corporate trainer, Dr. Lamba is a practicing chartered accountant and holds degrees in commerce, law and a doctorate in taxation. Dr. Lamba's training programs are held internationally, with a client list exceeding 2,000 large and medium-sized corporations spread across several countries including India, the USA, and in Europe, the Middle East and the Far East. He has also written several books and over 1,500 articles. His books, Romancing the Balance Sheet, Flirting with Stocks, Eye on the Bottom Line, and Financial Affairs of the Common Man, are currently making waves. So, let's begin our talk with Dr. Anil Lamba.
So first of all, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk. It's really our pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harsh.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, moving to the topic of today's session, which is already on the name of your book only, Flirting with Stocks. So, sir, my first question, which I was thinking to ask you, and today I got the opportunity to ask you, sir, I keep listening you that investing in stock is a national duty. Sir, it's a request to you, kindly please explain our viewers how it is.
You see, stock market investing is, of course, both very, very important from your own point of view, and it is also a national duty. I often say that. Now, why is it a national duty? You see, what happens when somebody invests in stocks? When the stock market activity level is high. For a moment, imagine there is an entrepreneur, a startup entrepreneur. He has some wonderful ideas. The person has a brilliant idea, but he doesn't have the money. Let's say he approaches you, Harsh, and let's imagine you have passed out of college and you are now a very successful businessman and you have lots of money. So this person comes to you, says, Harsh, I've got this wonderful idea. Why don't you invest your money, my idea, your money, we will make it a big success. Both of us will become very rich. Harsh, if you invest in my project, I will return your money back to you, multiplied many times, let us say 25 years from today. Chances are, doesn't matter how attractive the proposition is, you might refuse. Why will you refuse? Because what will put you off is 25 years later you will return the money. You might say, I have the money today, but what if I need it tomorrow? But let's imagine somebody comes to you and says, Harsh, I have this opportunity, I have this idea, why don't you invest with me, and we can do this and we can do that. And Harsh, whenever you want your money back, I will give it back to you. Will you not be far more inclined towards investing? This is what the stock market does. Today you have the money, you invest it. Whenever you want it back, all you have to do is pick up your phone, call up the broker, tell him sell and get your money back. You may get little more, you may get little less, but bulk of it will come back. But now imagine you pick up the phone because you need the money and tell the broker sell my shares and the broker doesn't find a buyer. You see, it is important that the stock market is teeming with activity. So when a large number of us in the country invest in shares, what happens? The stock market is a very active place. When the stock market is an active place, every time somebody wants to buy, he will be able to find a seller. Every time somebody wants to sell, he will be able to find a buyer. When buyers and sellers find it easier to locate each other, your inclination towards investment is much more. When you are much more inclined towards investing, then more entrepreneurs are born. Who are entrepreneurs? They are those wonderful people, brimming with energy, wonderful ideas, but they don't have the money. They find it easier to raise money. When entrepreneurs find it easier to raise money, more industry happens, more growth happens, more employment happens, more GDP happens. And where did this whole thing start? Because you and I said we will invest in stocks. So I think it's definitely a national duty. You cannot have a developed country with an underdeveloped stock market. Check it out. Every developed country will have a developed stock market. So I am saying you and I can contribute to the development of nation. If not directly, at least we can do it indirectly through investing in stocks. So that is the reason I always say.
It was really a very wonderful answer from your side, and also you have explained very well, sir. I think those who are watching this session, of course, they are going to learn from it. Sir, my next question to you: what are the tips would you like to give to someone who is about to invest their money first time?
You see, first requirement, the prerequisite is knowledge and understanding. Because even though I keep encouraging everybody to invest, I would rather you don't invest than invest foolishly. Because according to me, a foolish investor is a very dangerous person, because a foolish person gets in without understanding, burns his fingers, loses money, then comes out of the stock exchange cursing the stock exchange. That this is the gambler's den. This is no place for respectable people. Now, this person is dangerous because not only he doesn't blame himself for his lack of knowledge, he blames the stock market. And this person not only does not invest again, but he goes and discourages 20, 30 other people from doing so. That you don't make that mistake. I did it and I lost money. So such kind of a person, I think, is dangerous. First thing is understand. By all means, understand stock market also carries a risk. Folks, if you want to be safe, then stick to bank fixed deposit. Don't come to stock market. But then in a bank fixed deposit, your money won't even be able to earn equal to inflation. So if you want to make phenomenal returns, you should be willing to take some risks. So when you come to the stock market, understand what happens, understand the pluses and minuses, understand the risk that you take, understand sometimes you can lose money also. If you're willing, if you have the ability to lose also. So once you understand all that, and then of course start with baby steps. Don't just jump in and put your life savings. Put a certain percentage of your investment, that this much money I will take to the stock market. So that, the worst case scenario should be, even if I lose everything, which won't happen, that even if I lose everything, I will not go bankrupt. I can afford it. But then when you do that kind of a thing, when you bring that much of money and then you start investing and start learning the ropes, then gradually you can keep increasing and so on.
All right, sir. Again, you have explained it very well. Sir, my next question to you, if we consider about the myths, what are the biggest myths of stock market?
There are many myths associated with stock market. See, as I said, one myth is stock market is a gambler's den, which is wrong. It can be very scientifically approached. Second, on the other hand, people think I can make lots of money in the stock market. Answer is no. You can also lose money in the stock market. So one thing you should remember is there is no permanent rise and there is no permanent fall. What goes up will come down. What comes down will also go up. So consequently, there are no such things as missed buses in the stock market. You can't say, oh, I missed the bus. Now I've lost an opportunity. It will come back. Don't be in a hurry. Work as per a strategy. Make a plan. Understand the prices at which two things you must learn if you want to be successful in stock market. One is the ability to choose stocks. And that depends on your ability to do what is known as fundamental analysis. So the subject of finance you must understand, balance sheets you must understand, how to read financial statements you should understand. These are skills everybody must acquire at the earliest opportunity. Once you choose the stocks, the next question is when to get in, when to get out. That depends upon something called technical analysis. So rudiments of fundamental and rudiments of technical analysis everybody should understand. You can even, in the stock market is such a wonderful place, you can even start without investing money. You imagine you are investing. Every day you imagine I have invested. Follow a strategy. See if your strategies work without risking money at all. And once you find in theory they work, and today all these sites are there where you can, play games, you can create a portfolio with imaginary money. So once you learn, so take baby steps. This is something you should do for the rest of your life. It's not for a few days or for a few weeks. So go slowly, start. There are no missed buses. If you lost an opportunity today, no hurry, opportunity will come back. Understand when to get in when the market is beginning to rise, get out when the market is beginning to fall. So you must understand how to recognize the turn in the market. The downward turn turning to up and upward turn turning to down. And if you learn this, the kind of money one can make in the stock market in the long run, no other opportunity can make for you.
Indeed, sir, it's our privilege to listen all these things from you. Sir, my next question, which the question I have got from one of my subscribers, so the question is, what is the minimum amount one needs to invest in the stock market as a beginner?
Your voice broke a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure, sir. What is the minimum amount one needs to invest in?
That's the best part about stock market. I mean, any other investment requires a certain minimum. You can't say I want to invest in real estate because the amounts involved are very large. But in the stock market, even people with hundreds in their pocket can invest. So some shares are available for single digits, less than 10 rupees also shares are available. And if you want, you can buy one share. So any amount of money you can invest. So consequently, you come across very interesting people in the stock market. Like suppose you've identified this particular share I want to accumulate. So what you do is you don't have too much money. You said every opportunity I will buy. I know people, friends of mine in Mumbai, where one evening they're so much into stock market. One evening they're about to go out for dinner and it starts raining. They say, oh great, I would have gone out today and spent 4,000 rupees. Let me buy 4,000 rupees of this L&T stock or something. So you buy 2 shares, you buy 3 shares. Do it consistently. After a year, you realize I've accumulated so much. So there are multiple strategies to be used. One day you're about to go for a movie, say today I will not go for a movie, I'll pick up 1 share of this company. Do it by all means. It becomes a habit and slowly you can accumulate huge amounts of shares. So any amount from the very small amounts to very large amounts, this is one place where you can put as per your desire.
All right, sir. Sir, my next question to you, I have a question from, this question is also from one of my subscribers. So the question is, what is better for beginners, share market or mutual funds?
You see, the mutual fund, there's no such thing as beginner, right? Somebody else is investing for you. So mutual fund, of course, is a good way to have a presence in the stock market, but I've always felt a direct presence in the stock market, where you'll have to learn the ropes. So is always a healthy thing that will teach you how stock markets work. In mutual fund, you are a very passive investor. So I feel mutual funds are good for people who say, I want to invest in shares, but either they say, I don't have money, I don't have the time, or they say, I don't understand the stock market. Then rather than staying away, please be in the market through the mutual fund. But if you can directly invest, one of the reasons I feel direct investment is better, because the real money that you can make in the stock market is when you stick your neck out, when you take a certain amount of risk. Mutual funds, they have a reputation to protect. If they make money for you 10 times, nobody sends them a thank you note. But once if it falls, everybody starts cursing them. So mutual funds, if they make one risky investment, they have to make 5 more safe ones so that they make sure, the risks are offset. So consequently, they will never make phenomenal returns for you. The returns hopefully will be pretty decent, but not phenomenal. If you want phenomenal returns for yourself, you should be willing to stick your neck out. And that you can only do if you are yourselves present in the stock market. So I feel if you, in the beginning, perhaps a little bit from mutual fund is good. Eventually, you should directly invest in stocks.
All right, sir. Sir, my next question to you: if suppose that someone comes from not from this commercial background, or someone comes from engineering or any other background, then sir, what you suggest how should he begins into this stock market?
See, there are multiple ways. Today, thanks to internet, there is so much of information and knowledge available. Like I said, first thing is learn. You can learn through books, you can learn through courses, you can learn through watching YouTube videos. And then today it doesn't matter where you are, so long as you have an internet connection, so long you have Wi-Fi, you are as connected. You don't need to be in the heart of Mumbai to be next to the Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange. You could be in any corner of the earth and still be investing over there. So take efforts to learn, watch learned people's videos, do some online courses or offline courses. Perhaps your college might be having courses also. If they have, attend those classes. So multiple ways. Today, thanks to internet, like I said, nobody can say, I didn't know. Folks, if you didn't know, it only means you didn't take the effort to put on your computer and browse and check. In fact, there is more information available today than you know what to do with. In fact, today the choice is, there are so many sources, which source to use. There is no shortage, there is an excess, there is an overload of, and of course, unfortunately, all kinds of people are there. There are some people who don't really understand. Anybody can make a video and come out there. So the skill is to choose somebody who talks sense, but that one can find out. That one can talk to some friends who have been investing, ask them how they learned, and so on.
Indeed, sir. Sir, my next question to you, or rather say, most probably this is the last question of this session. I don't want to take you much time. Sir, the question is, what do you believe? What are the skills one must possess to enter into this stock market?
Like I said, frankly, if you have a good broker, then you yourself don't need skills. You need somebody who can guide you. So lots of people use online these broking platforms. I've always felt it is nice to have a human being if you know a person who's a broker, because a broker becomes a very, very fine source of free advice. By going online on your own, you still have a broker because that platform is a broker. But that person is not there to give you advice. So you are denying yourself a very nice source of free advice. What was the question you said? How?
Sir, what are the skills one need to have into the...
So at the earliest opportunity, learn the skills of finance. Because to evaluate companies, if you know how to read financial statements, if you know how to interpret them, if you know how to identify the signals, so learn basics of finance and learn basics of how stock markets work, of fundamental analysis as well as technical analysis. If these things one understands, you have all the ingredients necessary to become a successful investor.
All right, sir. It was a very excellent answer from your side, and also it was a really wonderful discussion on the topic, a healthy discussion with the topic. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and joining us. So thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Thank you, Harsh, for inviting me. It is a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure too. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.